The US President Donald Trump has warned Turkey of economic devastation if the attacks took place on Kurdish forces. Now, Trump tweeted, and I quote, "Starting the long overdue pullout from Syria while hitting the little remaining ISIS territorial caliphate hard and from many directions will attack from existing nearby base if it reforms will devastate Turkey economically if they hit Kurds. Likewise, do not want the Kurds to provoke Turkey," unquote. The Kurds make up the majority of the US allied fighters operating in Syria in the war against Syrian President Bashar al-Assad's government. The Turkey, on the other hand, views some Kurdish groups in the region as a terrorist organization. Turkey is the United States' only ally in the region, had partnered with the US in the fight against the Islamic terror group. Now, the Turkish President Erdogan lashed out at the US National Security Advisor John Bolton last week. Erdogan said that the Bolton has made a big mistake in thinking that the US withdrawal was contingent upon Turkey's pledge not to attack the Kurdish fighters. And I'm joined by Daniele Pagani, our bureau chief from West Asia. In Amman, Daniele, tell me that this withdrawal, what's the sense of time you're getting in terms of withdrawal of the American troops from Syria? And will it really impact the Kurdish fortune, because they were at the forefront of fighting ISIS and actually successfully resisted them in many areas?
I will start by answering to your last question. So will it impact the Kurds? Yes, it will impact the Kurds. It won't impact their military operations, since the United States forces will keep carrying on airstrikes from neighboring Iraq. Iraq has a huge presence of US troops and US Air Force. Therefore, jet fighters will take off from there and bomb the Islamic State positions which are still remaining in the desert areas close to Syria. It impacts the Kurdish people and the Kurdish fighters politically. Of course, it exposes them to a possible offensive from Ankara. Ankara, remembers, consider these Kurdish forces as terrorists. They consider them linked to a Kurdish party which has been fighting an insurgence against the Turkish forces. So the Americans pulling out, which is going to happen in the coming months, means that there will be an empty space where they were, most likely will be taken by the Syrian government forces, to whom Kurds have requested help.
But isn't that ironical, Daniele, that someone's freedom fighters is someone's terrorist, and the Kurds find themselves in a position where one country thinks that they support terrorism, whereas the Kurds themselves were at the forefront of fighting ISIS?
I need to ask you to reframe the question. I couldn't hear you, I'm sorry.
Daniele, my question was that doesn't it make the position of the Kurdish leadership or the autonomous areas where Kurds are difficult, whereby an important country like Turkey finds them as terrorists? So in long run, how does it impact them? Because ultimately they are the neighbors, Turkey, not the United States of America. I think there's a bit of an audio problem. Thank you, Daniele, for joining me. My colleague Daniele Pagani from Amman, he was telling us about how this will impact the Kurdish leadership, because after all, the Kurds were at the forefront of the fighting ISIS, but now Turkey has different interests, and Turkey feels that a strengthened Kurd leadership means that the areas where Kurds live in Turkey will also get affected and create a demand for a new nationality, whereas they are the ethnic minorities now in some parts of Turkey.